There's an inextricable relationship between the people and the Bible. And with that attention to the Bible, there's an inextricable relationship between the Hebrew people and the land. What makes the place is the fact that God makes this His place. I love the Kidron Valley, and I love the fact that I'm coming to you from it. You can see the eastern Jerusalem wall behind me and this beautiful picture of terraced gardens. Of course, you hear some noise too, because the Kidron Valley is right up against a major thoroughfare here, and tourists are just coming all around this city wanting to get a piece of the miracle that is Israel. I can't control the noise, I can't control the voice that comes from all of that, but I want to look at the voice from this, the Bible itself, and underscore with you how and why it is that this land is so very special, what it is that makes it that. Well, I'm looking at Ezekiel 37 here, and we're looking at prophetic literature, and the author says in verse 5, he says, Vayashvu al haaretz asher notati la'avdi la'Yaakov, and you will dwell in the land that I've given to Jacob, my servant, asher yeshvu bo avotechem, the land where your fathers dwelt. You've heard of Israel referred to as the Promised Land, and here Ezekiel is speaking to refugees, and he gives voice to the fact that they're going to come back to this land. And by the way, we're living in the coming back to the land moment. I mean, it really is one of those stories where you find something in the biblical word and in the modern newspaper, and you can look at those two in tandem. The prophet predicted a return, and we're living in the return, which is why I'm coming to you here from the Kidron Valley. Now, God's going to do something special here, and it says, or he says rather, as I go on through 25, that this is a land that was bequeathed to not only Jacob, but his children and his children's children, and he says, ad olam, that is, throughout all generations, or forever. Now, a Bible reader knows that God gave a people real estate. People wonder why the Jews read the Bible and they can't see Jesus. I wonder why Christians read the Bible and can't see Jews, because it seems so rather clear in the literature that God gave a people a land. What is it that makes the place so special? And it's not the fact that Hebrew people live in it and our Arab cousins and others. What makes it special isn't the human inhabitants of it, though it's given to certain people. What makes it special according to the text, and I want to pick up here in verse 26. The Lord says, Vinotati et mikdashi b'tokom leolam, and I will set my sanctuary in it. What makes the place is the fact that God makes this His place. It was like that since the dawn of creation, actually, in Gan Eden. And we explored this earlier in Eden. God dwelt with you, mankind. If one asks the question, where was Eden? Well, Eden in antiquity is Israel in biblical literature, and modern Israel is, in effect, the real estate where God dwelt with His people. And the sanctuary was to be built here, that He might dwell with them again. Now, when you look at biblical prophecy, and this program deals with it, when we look at Dateline Jerusalem, we're interested in the story, to be sure, of what's happening here in this land. But there's an undercurrent. It's not simply displaced persons returning to an ancestral homeland, though it is that. But in conjunction with that, religious sensibilities are brought to bear. Not with all Israelis, many tend to be very, very secular, but amongst the religious, who are more tethered to biblical ways of thinking and being. Because religious Jews understand themselves to be people of the book. There's an inextricable relationship between the people and the Bible. And with that attention to the Bible, there's an inextricable relationship between the Hebrew people and the land. Now, with the return to the land, Bible readers are cueing into the fact that God is going to rebuild his sanctuary here in the land. And it's part of that forever future package. That is, it's for future days to come. It's for the world to come. He says again, just in verse 26, and I will set my sanctuary in the midst. And it's all part of religious Jewish anticipation of a rebuilding of a temple. Once upon a time, it existed behind me, and in time, they believe it's going to be built and dedicated again.